Tonight I'll be staying at Mimi Soho Hotel. It's a hotel that's noted for its small rooms and its central location. Let's take a look inside.
The first thing you notice is how dark it is inside, although this really enhances the hotel's ambience.
The door is really heavy and it's dark in here. I better find a light switch. Found the light switch. I'm pushing buttons and the lights have come on. Great. Okay, I'm in the room and managed to find the light switch and turn the lights on. And let's have a look around. So, as you can see, this is a very small room and there's no windows.
Now, I've checked into the smallest room in the hotel. It's a single room that measures just 6 square meters. Normally when you have a hotel with such tiny rooms, it's usually a minimalist design that's very bare bones and basic. But with this one, they've actually given it a bit of character. It actually feels really nice for a small room, and it feels like I'm staying in a boutique hotel. It has some character without feeling dated. Sometimes when a hotel moves away from the contemporary design and tries to give the place some character, it can end up looking a little dated, but I think they've done a good job here. They've managed to give it some character without making it feel out of date. But the room is tiny, and there's only so much you can do with a 6 square meter room. I think they've done quite well considering the small amount of space they have to work with. There's a bathroom which is nicer than the average ensuite bathroom, even though it is tiny. There's a nice toilet. There's a hairdryer. Some molten brown toiletries. And a nice shower with a big rainfall shower head. Back in the room, due to the tight space, there's no work desk. There is a space under your bed where you can keep your bags, and there's a little spot under the bedside table with complimentary drinking water. And there's tea and coffee making facilities with a pod espresso machine. That's great considering the small size of my room. There's also reading lights by the bed, and a good sized flat screen TV.
Let's try out the bed. Yep, that's a very comfortable bed. Yep, that's a very comfortable bed. It is just a single bed, so you're not going to have that much room to yourself, but it's a comfortable mattress. And certainly you get a good night's sleep on this.
Let's see how fast the Wi-Fi is at the hotel. Yeah, so it's fairly decent Wi-Fi, although not the best upload speed.
The hotel has a cosy bar area on the ground floor, which is a nice spot to relax with a drink, but it can get busy here during the evening. If this hotel was a biscuit, what biscuit would it be?
Now, if this hotel was a biscuit, it would be a Border dark chocolate ginger. Now, like a Border dark chocolate ginger, it's a little bit special. It's not your average run-of-the-mill biscuit that you'll find everywhere. And it's bursting with flavour. It just packs a lot into a small package. Just packs a lot of flavour into a small package, and the hotel packs a lot into a small package too. That's a good biscuit. Yep. I think I found a new favourite biscuit. That's really good.
The hotel is on 5th Street in Soho. Mozart used to live across the street above what is now the Prince Edward Theatre. And a few doors down is Bar Italia, one of London's oldest cafes which inspired the 1995 pulp song, and it's also the building where John Logie Baird made the first public demonstration of his new invention, the television. You'll find Soho Square at the end of 5th Street. And it's just a 4-minute walk to Oxford Street and Tottenham Court Road tube station. And there's another, newer entrance to Tottenham Court Road tube station, which is a little closer to the hotel.
About an 8 or 9 minute walk in the other direction from the hotel takes you to Leicester Square and Leicester Square tube station. So, this is the morning after my stay at Mimi's. I slept really well. Not having a window has actually seemed like a bonus. I think it would be a drawback for most people, but it seemed like a bonus for me because it meant the room was just so quiet. I slept really well. It was dark and quiet, something that you don't get when you have a window. Obviously, for a longer stay, I think you'd like to look outside, but for a one-night stay, it's perfectly fine. My room was tiny. But I did book the smallest room in the hotel, and but other rooms in the hotel are much bigger than mine. So you can stay in a normal-sized room if you check in here. But yeah, if you're on a budget and you want to be in the centre, well, if you're on a budget, you're not going to stay in the centre of London. It still was a fairly pricey place to stay, even for a tiny room. But it was certainly work well for me. The only thing that I really missed from that was not having a work desk. The room was tiny. It was no real place to put it, but they could have worked something out where you could have had some sort of pull down a shelf that turned into a desk or something like that. Not having a work desk was a big drawback for me, but for the average person that doesn't need that, this hotel would be a perfectly fine place to stay.